Ramble.
If you are like us in LA, you are on another lockdown and, everything is sort of scary. Even going to the grocery store sometimes can be overwhelming. And a really great solution to that is getting HelloFresh. You can get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store and makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. They got a great variety of meals. They deliver fresh, high-quality, pre-proportioned ingredients so you can make the meals that are delicious and nutritious. HelloFresh is the first global carbon-neutral meal kit company. By skipping the grocery store and using HelloFresh, you're reducing your food waste by at least 25%. Becky and I, we had chicken ramen recently. It was actually quite good, super easy. Making it at home was delicious, super fun. We did it together. And now you can get $80 off, including free shipping at HelloFresh.com/TryPod80 and use code TryPod80 at checkout. That's HelloFresh.com/TryPod80, code TryPod80 for $80 off and free shipping. Thank you to HelloFresh, Talkspace, Best Fiends, and Native Deodorant for sponsoring today's episode.
Eugene, we are live in 5, 4,
Don't do this
3,
to me, Miles.
2, pointing my finger.
Welcome to the tripod. Welcome to the tripod.
Wow.
Welcome to the
Tripod.
You've got Keith.
Hey.
He's our co-anchor, and you've got the beautiful weatherman, Miles.
Howdy.
It's cold out there.
It's cold.
Another cold one.
Back to you, Eugene.
And I'm here at the main desk talking silly.
Yeah.
It's a private pod today, and we're going to talk about things like our privates because we're going to deliver the silliest podcast in the history of podcasts.
Last time it was just a Keith and Eugene show. Everybody went nuts for it. Everyone was stripping off their clothes, throwing it on stage, and people were feeling good. So we knew we just had to give you another to close out the best year in our lives.
That's
2020.
right. We're like a live concert performance giving you that encore.
Your
And
hair's
it's
a
gotta
little
be
musk
silly.
today.
It's a little musk?
It's a little musk.
Yeah.
Because it's silly pod,
It's the
baby.
silly pod.
It's
As
the
in it's a
silliest pod.
must-have. Is that what you mean?
Oh, it's a must hair.
I thought you said musk.
A little musk.
Like you could smell it.
I can
from
smell
there.
your hair. It smells like a strong man in a forest.
I've always
Whoa.
thought about like how skunks, if they weren't so sneaky, they'd be so cute.
They are cute as fuck.
I know. They
They're
waddle.
cute.
So some people get their stink sacks removed and keep them as cats.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't know. I'm sure there's two sides of the coin there.
But I feel like a skunk would. That's so part of their
probably like
identity
declawing a cat
and their
right?
biology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have no defense mechanism, but also you're providing a safe environment for them.
that's true.
That's true, and the wild is wild out there.
But taking away a skunk's stink would take away their.
If a skunk don't
Doesn't
stink,
stink,
is it a skunk? It's named after its horrible smell.
I
Have
know.
you guys seen the people on TikTok who raise possums and stuff and raccoons?
They raise them?
Yeah, there's like a girl. There's this girl, and she looked like, I don't know, some Pinterest ass looking 20-something.
Okay.
No.
And she had a
Yeah,
little shade there.
Well, no, just like she looked like a normal human being, and she had a possum. Is what I mean.
This is a great silly opening. So rodents.
Oh.
I'm down with rodents.
It depends on the rodent, but I think most of them
What's
are
your number
pretty
one
cool.
rodent?
Squirrel.
What's yours, Miles?
Squirrel.
Squirrel?
Sorry,
Oh, bro.
I copied it.
off. It's fucking mine.
I copied
called
it.
it.
I panicked. Probably
Raccoons are rodents, right?
no,
No.
they're mammals. But raccoons
Well,
would be
rodents
mammals.
are mammals.
Beavers are. I'm pretty sure beavers
Okay, I'm gonna call
are
like let's say
rhododentia.
rodents / trash mammals.
Raccoon.
Critters
Yeah.
with big fucking teeth that
Yeah.
scare you if you are surprised by them.
Yeah.
Wait, raccoon's mine. You can't say raccoon, Miles. Come
what am I
on.
supposed to do over
Be an
here?
original.
Go with a beaver.
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 I do like a beaver.
I have seen on TikTok people who got a beaver.
Yeah, it's all
and
right.
they make little dams in the house, but it's just like the flow of people. No, there's no water, but they just anytime there's like an opening, they just dam it up.
Yeah,
I just think raccoons with their Hamburglar bandit faces and their weird human fingers.
Their hands are pretty amazing.
They're so funny because if they were huge, they'd be terrifying, but they're small. So they're like little grubby, like how the Swedish Chef is the only Muppet with people hands. Yeah, that's how I feel about raccoons.
Yeah, they're cute. Have you follow Raccoon Village on Instagram?
I'm sorry.
No.
Huge fucking shout out. My favorite account I follow on Instagram.
Gonna get the bump.
It's good. Get the TryPod bump. It doesn't have that many followers, but it's just like a village in Japan. It's like a raccoon sanctuary where they raise raccoons and and they're domesticated and it's awesome.
Yeah. There's also a YouTube channel of this old guy who has a porch that like 50 raccoons descend upon. And he goes, today I'm trying to give him a Miracle Whip. Will they eat the Miracle Whip? And they fucking eat it. They go ham over it.
Of course, it's oil. It's egg oil, right? Miracle Whip is just oil.
Squirrels are acrobats.
They are.
That Mark Rober video, there's one about him creating a squirrel obstacle course in his backyard.
Because they eat his bird
Fantastic.
seed.
Yeah.
So I've got squirrels in my house. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. And the funniest moment I ever had as a squirrel, there was a squirrel outside one of our doors, and it had the biggest testicles. The biggest
big balls.
nuts,
Yeah.
let's call them.
Very nice.
And they were
sitting right there.
They were scraping the ground. I'm not kidding. They were the size of its legs. Like it was the biggest ball sack I've ever seen on an animal, and that animal happened to also be a squirrel.
That's good.
Well, what'd you name him?
What did we name him?
You named him Nuts.
Oh, we named him Nuts?
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we named him Ball Sack.
Ball sack.
Ball Sack.
Yeah.
Well, this is a really great start to the silliest podcast in history.
There's a lot of silly things to have.
Keith, hit us with the second silly thought.
Second silly thought. Well, I watched Home Alone last night.
Classic.
A fantastic film. And, and there's a scene in the middle when she's calling the police in Illinois. And she's like, I need you to go check on my child. They're like, okay, I'll transfer you to family services. It goes the next door over. And then the police are just horrible. It's very, very funny. But one of the policemen's name is Officer Balzac. And it was something that obviously flew over my head as a child, but there's just a character in the middle of the movie whose name is Ballsack. So that's silly. That's what got into my mind because of the nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
there's a lot of hidden adult jokes.
There's hidden
in there.
adult jokes. There's also so much teasing of what's going to happen in the opening sequence with he literally says, I want to live alone. I don't want my family. They throw away his plane ticket. There's other tiny little things about all the other characters that come into play. It's a very well written movie. That's my silly thought.
Silly.
You know the picture of Buzz's girlfriend where he goes, Buzz's girlfriend, woof.
Yeah.
They thought it would be very mean to cast an actual young girl to always be oh, you're Buzz's girlfriend. So they got one of, I believe, the filmmakers or producers' sons and put him in a wig.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He's
really
kind of a
great
convincing
movie.
lady, though.
Great movie.
Great movie. You should
really
watch.
holds up.
You should watch the Movies That Made Us Home Alone episode. It's on there. Also, shout out, the Movies That Made Us has a Christmas Movies That Made Us, and one of them is Elf, which is an amazing film. And it also is one of those stories how did this get made? This almost didn't happen.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
Nightmare Before Christmas is the other one, and I can't wait to watch that one because I love watching
all great ones.
any sort of stop motion documentary because they're impossibly intricate.
Insane. Elf is one of those things that it's so surprising it got made because it's so weird and it's so funny, but not a broad. It's now a beloved Christmas movie.
Craziest thing, the only movie that Will Ferrell had been in prior to that had been out was Night at the Roxbury. So everybody thought he was a total failure.
Wow.
And everyone was like, you cannot bring this guy on. He sucks. Now at the same time, they were filming Old School.
Yeah.
Which obviously was a huge hit, but he was known as Frank the Tank. So I'm not going to spoil it. I want people to go watch the episode, but it's very funny. It's about how Will Ferrell was a nobody basically, and in the time that they made it, he became known for being a drunk maniac, and then he was supposed to come out in this family Christmas movie. So
you know what that reminds me of?
What?
For my silly
What's
thought.
your silly thought?
Hit it.
Fucking Rudolph story.
Silly.
Yeah, go off.
So Rudolph's one of my favorite Christmas characters, mainly because I'm down with the song. I will never know the same joy as it was to shout like a light bulb as a kid.
light bulb.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I felt I felt so important screaming that shit. But Rudolph, I also related to because he was the weirdo. He was different. And then one day Santa was like, you have a use. And then everyone was like, I guess he's popular now.
Also, how blinding must his nose be?
I mean, it cuts through fog.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's a hot
I don't know what the moral of the story was in the end. I think it was, I know what it
Reindeer.
was. But as an adult.
Like Pinocchio.
As an adult. Like as a kid, you're like, what makes you different? It makes you special and important. But it's really more like you were.
What makes you different is a superpower.
You were a freak, and then the man who runs the company man says, "Oh, I have a use for you because it's foggy today." Yeah. So that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Do we cancel Santa?
I'm canceling Santa.
Don't cancel Santa.
Well, he shouldn't be on his sleigh. We're in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna be safe. He's got that beard. It's pretty much a face mask.
No, that beard is catching every particle.
Santa.
What if Santa this year just had to have a clean shaven face? because he's like, well, for the coronavirus, I had to shave, and I'm wearing a mask this year.
Yes. And I can't come inside your house 6 feet rule, so I'm going to bazooka my presence through your front window.
That's basic. So coronavirus is basically what created the Futurama Santa.
Yes.
The evil robot Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Robot Santa.
That would do exactly that. Would bazooka your gifts at you. That was part of his trope. That was a good episode.
Yeah, me and Keith share a love of certain cartoons. We love Futurama.
Yeah.
Futurama was great.
Futurama was excellent.
Except every time I think of Futurama, I think of the Jurassic Park episode, and I get really sad.
You can't think of that one.
I immediately think of it.
Yeah.
Yo.
What?
When you hurt a dog in anything, what do you expect me to feel? You know what you're doing.
You feel sad.
I feel sadness.
He feels very.
Here's this. I refuse to watch Marley and Me.
Oh, I've never watched it either.
I don't want to watch it.
I can't watch it.
I don't want to watch it. And then they had that movie recently. There's a slew of movies called like A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Life,
A Dog's Way Home,
A Dog's Way Home, A Dog's like Sunday Brunch. And one of the recent ones, the story is like the dog just keeps getting reincarnated over and over again, which means
dying.
That's like the ultimate, we're going to make a movie where we just showed like 12 dogs die and make you cry. I think that's gross. Cancel those dog movies like we're canceling Santa.
I'm with you. But what about the classics? Where the red fern grows.
Yo.
Yeah.
Where the red fern grows, bitch.
bitch. I don't know is that still in elementary school curriculums?
I imagine.
hope so.
I definitely in the South it is.
Oh my god! And the dogs'
Southern.
names were Blue and okay. So to summarize.
Little hounds,
little
hounds,
two hounds, little boy in the South, very touching story, but at the end they help protect him when some bully is trying to kill him. And they die. And between their graves, a red fern grows.
It's where the red fern grows.
And it was the first time it was the first time I watched an adult cry because it was my third grade teacher read it to us and she started weeping uncontrollably and it made us so uncomfortable.
I think crying from books is a very interesting phenomenon.
Are you guys big readers? Because I came
Miles, no.
I know. I came out. I came out recently. I came out that I.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I came out that I had not read a single book all year, and I had made a pact that I was going to read a book a month. And you
made a pact
with the devil. I made like a New Year's resolution of sorts,
right?
And I didn't read a single book this year, and I feel like I'm ashamed of that.
And this was the year probably to read a book.
Yeah, I had time.
If there was time where you were at home and you couldn't go outside.
Books require investment, like both emotional and I also think like in ways spiritual, because you can sit with a book and it can be the next day.
Yes.
So you need to invest yourself to it. You have to give yourself to books.
Yeah.
And with the way the year was, people just wanted to turn on whatever the fuck popped up on Netflix to sort of drown out their brain.
Yeah, Becky's a good reader. She reads.
Yeah.
She buys books. She reads books. She crushes books in an afternoon. I am the opposite. I was never a good reader. My mom always like made me read. In the summer, we had summer reading, and I had to read like X amount of chapters a day.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the curriculum we chose in my house was Anne of Green Gables, which is perhaps the least relatable thing for a young boy to try to slog through a 7-part like book series of like size 5 font and 800 pages about a girl whose
That's why
growing up.
everyone just watched the Netflix series.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I obviously got into the Harry Potter. Yeah. That was probably the only book series that I was like, I gotta read it.
What was the best required curriculum book you read, and what was your least favorite?
The best was The Hobbit.
They let you read The Hobbit in school?
It was 7th grade. We read The Hobbit.
What?
And I was like, this is incredible. Yeah. What a fun journey. And then we watched the animated Hobbit movie at the time, which is, that's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Sorrow that master bite. Which I love. And I think it's so funny. And then the worst one, I'm sure I've just blocked out the memory.
I mean, I appreciate it as a pillar, a towering pillar of literature in American history, but The Grapes of Wrath was really hard to get through in school.
Yeah.
Mainly because I probably would have enjoyed it if I got to read it just on my own all the way through, but we'd have to do chapter breakdowns and then a whole class dedicated to that goddamn turtle crossing the street. There's a whole there's like a chapter early on that it just describes this turtle crossing the street. And it's very representative. Like it's great, but it is very hard to have the attention of like 6th grade kids do chapter blocks and say, now let's talk about what all of that meant.
Yeah.
I just wanted to read about these people getting,
Right now, we are all full-time workers, chefs, housekeepers, teachers, and babysitters in our own homes. We're trying to keep everyone in their normal routines along with our own. And it's not easy to prioritize yourself sometimes, but your mental health and well-being play a critical role in showing up as your best self for others. And what is amazing is an entire month on Talkspace costs the same amount as a single in-person session. I mean, that's great. Therapy, the Try Guys, we have done it as some videos before. It's important. It's something that, helps you have an unbiased bounce board to sort of talk about, understand what's going on with your own mental health. It's important. They have thousands of licensed therapists with years of experience in over 40 specialties, including depression, anxiety, substance abuse, trauma, anger management, relationship issues, food and eating, and so much more. Talking to my friends is so different from talking to a licensed therapist who has the expertise and knowledge to give me practical guidance. And Talkspace gives us the support we need at an affordable price. And as a listener of us, you get $100 off your first month with Talkspace when you use the code TRYGUYS. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code TRYGUYS to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's TRYGUYS and Talkspace.com. Yeah, book assignments where you read it as a class and everybody's reading out loud. There's no way to stay focused.
No.
Ain't no way. And you want to read ahead. But then it's your turn to read and you have to out yourself that you don't know where the class is because you read ahead because everyone's so slow. You can't make fun of kids who can't read. That's not very nice. But in Tennessee, in Carthage, let me tell you, there were some people who couldn't read. And my family tutored kids. I helped kids learn to read, but there were some kids that their parents did not help them get that help. And they couldn't read in high school.
I liked those post-apocalyptic kind of books that in middle school, like The Giver and Lord of the Flies.
The Giver is a good book.
I never read it. Are you talking about The Giving Tree?
The movie is the horse. Are you
talking about The Giving Tree?
No.
Yeah, the movie is horseshit.
The book for like young children.
The Giving Tree, though. Oh my God, that tree gave. That tree gave so much.
I've heard recent rumblings throughout the sort of PTA that The Giving Tree is a bad message for kids about abuse.
I think that's what it's about, though.
Well, right, but I think that for kids, I don't know. I have no idea. I could be totally wrong about this, but like, the idea is that like he just takes the tree's dead and then he's fine.
Because the tree's in love with the boy.
But the boy's fine at the end.
And at the very end, he cuts the tree down, and as an old man, he sits on the stump. It is, I think, an allegory for,
taking too much.
Taking too much from someone.
Yeah.
Emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Is he a white boy?
Oh, he's definitely a white boy. Oh my God,
he's
so white.
Yeah.
So white.
Maybe it's about how the white man taketh.
That's the joy of books. You put your own meaning to it. Yeah. I wouldn't cancel The Giving Tree. I think it's a good message for kids to understand.
It's certainly not the tree's fault.
No.
I'm gonna
cancel that little fucking boy who keeps taking.
Yeah.
Cancel that giving
The receiving boy.
The receiving
Let's
boy.
call him the taking boy.
The taking boy.
Let's call it what it is.
Fuck
It's
that
the taking boy.
So we got, it's the end of 2020. We got to cancel some stuff. Santa, the Giving Tree.
I'm not on board
No,
with
the
canceling
taking
Santa.
boy.
Okay, we'll keep him.
We're canceling Santa's typical.
Yeah, we're just reinventing the Santa. He's got no beard.
Yeah.
He's in a hazmat suit.
A hermetically sealed sleigh. He's just making sure he's just putting all the sanitizer on every single present, just rubbing it and soaking it in hand
It's all
sanitizer.
Purell. Every gift is Purell.
But The Giver is a horseshit movie with Taylor Swift in it.
Didn't watch it.
It's okay. So you know how I'm gonna get my soapbox for a second. You know how The Giver's about that they can't see color and then all of a sudden they can.
Yeah.
The movie's like halfway in black and white, and then it becomes not, which is fine. But then the other thing in The Giver is that they don't know emotions, so they learn emotions halfway through.
Have you not read The Giver?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's like about a
I'm
dystopian
enjoying
thing.
it.
Yeah.
And the problem is when there's actors expressing no emotion as their characters, it's bad acting. It just is a bad thing to watch. It's not fun to watch. So they'll be like, okay, I have to go to my house. Like they're trying to be very monotone. It's
Yeah, you know what's
good.
that reminds me of is there's a thing in literature like there is in movies or any type of, I guess, like business art, Bart. Biz art.
We call it
Biz
Bard.
art.
Business
We call
art.
it Bart.
Bard. We call it Bard here.
Where they say this is hot right now, right? So as kids, we liked these sort of dystopian, like what happens when society crumbles books, like from 1984 to Lord of the Flies.
Hunger Games.
And then, of course, Hunger Games, especially in the YA world, they're like, this is hot. Everything needs to be dystopia.
Well, Magical
that
Hero
was-
Child is always a good one.
But I believe Magical Hero Child was like early 2000s. Then we had a big vampire craze.
Yeah.
And then we went into dystopia. And that's when they were like, we're going to
Yeah.
adapt Giver into a movie. And then there's a point where it's almost like right when it becomes hot because of one thing, then the next thing is not hot anymore. And I just think you should just let people just write and read what they want. Stop telling us what we think is hot.
Yeah.
I don't need to, I'm always into dystopia. You don't know me. You don't know me.
It's not just a Christmas feeling.
Yeah. Some producers like, we're not into fantasy right now. I'm like, everyone's into fantasy.
There's so many people. How could anyone ever say that, oh, we shouldn't make that, or there's no audience for that? There's so many fucking people in the world. There's an audience for it. I promise
There's
you.
raccoon videos, audience right here.
Hell yeah.
Rabbit ASMR.
Hell yeah.
Audience.
I think that's like what TikTok is to me, is that like the idea that there's no piece of content that there's zero audience for. It's just in varying degrees. And TikTok is like, we'll find all the fucking people who like this specific weird thing.
It'll help. We'll help you.
Yeah.
We'll navigate
Yeah.
the current.
You know, you had a weird silly thought about musicals, right?
Well, I did. So lately I've been trying to fall asleep, and I just can't because my mind is abuzz with ideas. And I don't know why specifically, but last night I was thinking, hey, why hasn't there been a musical written that's just called Gays? And it's like a really fun music about how cool gays are from this perspective of gays, obviously. And there's all these songs about how they're so hot and how they love to party. I just think there's like so many good like ripe trope of just a positive. It's not about anything dark. It's going to be a totally
Happy.
celebrational. There's no antagonist. It's just a fun thing, and I just think it would crush.
You ready to blow your mind?
What?
You ready to get your mind blown?
I'm ready.
I'm about to blow it.
No,
Blow it. Good.
don't blow it.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow it. I think every musical's already that.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because-
I agree.
Look,
Because gays like will, even in like the darkest musical, gays will be like, that's the queer character. This is how I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna celebrate this. Also, everyone on stage is probably a little gay.
That's why. Let's just go out and do
But
it.
it's
Yeah.
I think it'll be too obvious. No. I think it'll be too obvious.
No, it won't.
Because the one because and this is okay, now we're getting together, right? Great minds. So now we're getting
we're
into,
writing
like,
it. Everybody,
it's gay.
We
it's a gay
we've
musical.
trademarked this
Yeah.
idea. Stop trying to
So
steal
you've got
listeners.
the basis, but now I'm going to advance it
Okay.
from a queer perspective. It's going to go into a queer dystopia.
Okay.
Because the one thing that keeps this very diverse umbrella of the LGBTQ pluses together is our shared a disdain for heteronormativity. And if it's just a culture of us, man, that's going to devolve very fast.
It will.
Yeah. We're a rainbow coalition until we're not. And
So it's like a cult.
Yeah, and that's when it's going to get
It's called
into
Gay Cult the musical. That's
incredible.
incredible. And it's basically all the gays decide, you know what?
Because
we're going to all live together.
Then the bad guys will become for sure the cis white gays.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
They're the
absolutely.
mean
Right.
bad guys. They're going to come out and they're going to
Yeah.
be like snapping and
The gay, what? I'm trying to think of like what landmass should the gays just be like, we're going to claim this as ours? Australia?
I mean,
Because it's a country
Down
continent.
under.
I was going to say Mykonos.
Mykonos.
Or-
Yeah, it needs to be somewhere hot. Like
Lesbos.
sexy hot.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
A Greek
is hot.
a Greek island.
A
All the
Greek
Greek islands are
island.
very
Yeah.
cool.
What about
They're
just
so
all
cool.
Greece?
I mean, but now we're just talking about Mamma Mia.
Look,
Which is a very
Greece is poised.
there's no outright queer characters in that, but that is probably one of the gayest movies and musicals in history. They threw Cher in it for no reason.
Yeah.
That's musicals are just in the DNA.
I just
already
love
gay.
musicals. I want to write a musical someday in my life. I want it to go to at least off Broadway.
I do miss musical. I think the COVID, like you can't see musicals and stuff like that.
Oh, I miss performing on stage in front of people. I miss seeing people perform on stage for me.
Yeah, right.
I
Exactly.
miss both.
I think that the Try Guys, the musical, great idea. We talked about this on a podcast before. We must have. But I think there's something that you could do where you just do a full ass musical. Or you guys write and produce it, different people play you.
So how do I play baseball? Well, these are the rules of baseball. Now we're playing baseball, but we're not very good.
My wife. I want to see my wife. Did I mention that I have a wife?
It fucking writes itself.
We would maybe need to recast Zach and Ned.
No, they can
If
do
it's on
it.
Broadway,
Yeah.
Well, if it's on Broadway, we probably have to recast all of
we might have
us.
to recast us.
I
Yeah,
don't
we're
have
not
to
that
stand
level.
on it.
Zachary Quinto plays Keith.
And I'm not about to do the same show for 2 years straight. You kidding me? I'll go crazy. I don't know how they do it.
That's
So,
a crazy schedule.
This is what we do. We recast us with hot,
Gays.
Yeah.
musical theater performers.
I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what you would do.
That's so good.
It's another piece is like, we're breaking away from BuzzFeed.
Yeah, right.
We're starting all over again.
YouTube the musical hasn't been done. Oh, there's been you guys.
Well,
talked
Michelle
about
Carey
things
does
like that.
the
Rewind musical.
rewinds
And
with musical.
I don't know if it's
Oh.
out by the time this podcast comes out or if it's coming out soon, but I'm sure it's good. She does a
But
good
those are
job
fun,
with
yeah.
those. She's
Oh,
fun.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but I
She's
think
one last year. It was really funny.
we've always joked. This is very silly, Try Guys Thoughts, but we never get to do it because we're, I don't know, just chugging away at our fucking
Slogging
Slogging at
feeding
our
the beast.
slate, but our
Like
dream-
throwing the coal in the engine of the train, keep it on the tracks.
Okay, here let's give them the hard truth about
Hard
a
truth.
lot of digital creators. We're older than many of them, and a lot of we and the Try Guys, many of us come from like traditional art backgrounds, theater. So a lot of these youngins, they coming up, they only do digital stuff. Maybe they do some makeup. Maybe they vlog and talk about what it's like to
they
dance
do,
cute.
They do modern art.
They do modern art. But what we
Call it modern
want,
art.
what we want to do one day is we want to do spin the wheel Shakespeare.
Yeah.
We want to just get a lot of people together, but the wheel, you run backstage and something says perform the next scene while holding 3 cats.
Oh.
Or take a shot or switch roles or
Oh, we'd be really drunk the whole time.
yeah, we should also be drunk. We're going to be drunk.
I really do think that the next time we tour, whenever that is, in 3 years, it should just be Romeo and Juliet.
So
it's
funny.
Us. Here's why. It's free.
Speaking of things you have to read in middle school. Yeah, everyone knows Romeo.
Everyone knows
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. I think it would be great because it's a great way for us to appeal to our fans, but also just
Yeah.
old theater people.
Yes.
Because you know that when like people see that Romeo and Juliet is coming to town,
Right.
someone's not going to read the bylines.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, let's go see it. And then they're going to show
gonna
up
be
and it's
so
going to be the
confused.
4 of us playing all the roles. And it's going to be so fucking fun.
And whatever city when we have a guest, actor or digital creator come on stage with us, as the other role. And we have a camera backstage of the Wheel of Shakespeare so that they see what's happening as it goes. So it devolves into chaos.
Yeah, it would devolve.
And every show is different.
But I also kind of want to just do it proper.
No.
Like,
there's nothing worse than something being
video series where we learn Shakespeare and we work hard and we get
Keith,
the iambic
you know this.
down.
You know this well.
I'm gonna call my old Shakespeare
There's
theater.
There's nothing worse.
teacher.
There's nothing worse than kind of good theater.
But kind of good Shakespeare can be funny.
There's
I
nothing
miss
worse.
doing
But it's
bad
bad.
theater
Ugh.
so bad.
Anything on stage, whether it's improv, a cappella, Broadway, if it's kind of good, it's nothing. I need it to be hilariously bad on purpose or superlative.
Maybe we should just West Side Story it, and we should just write a new modern Romeo and Juliet set in, I don't know, 2025.
West Philadelphia.
West Philadelphia. Just set somewhere else. And, we use all the tropes. We basically do all the characters. It's free. You can just do whatever you want with Shakespeare. That's the beauty
They
of
already
Shakespeare.
did it.
I know they did.
That
We're going to
movie,
do it again.
There's that movie called Gnomeo and Juliet.
No, that's true. They nailed it.
It's garden gnomes in different yards. Wait, what are garden gnomes and why are they there?
It's a good question. I think that they scare away the monsters.
Are they like
I think
scarecrows?
they scare away rodents.
Oh,
I
Do they
imagine.
scare away rodents?
I imagine that. Why else would you put a demon in your yard?
I don't know.
in
Maybe
your garden.
is it a cultural thing where it just kind of is a relic of
Well, it comes from
UK?
maybe.
I don't know.
Sweden.
No, I think that it's it's like a scarecrow, but for people from Denmark.
Are gnomes
They're
the
tiny,
things?
tiny
what
birds.
what are the creatures that steal your socks?
Rats.
Oh,
Is that gnomes or
gnomes.
is that?
Yeah,
that's gnomes, right?
Gnomes steal your
They
steal your
they want the
underwear
little
and your
socks.
socks and your things.
Yeah.
That's like the idea. Like when people first used to lose socks, they said, "Oh, little gnomes are stealing." them."
Yeah, they're taking those little.
And then there were
sock
the
gnomes.
borrowers. Remember that book? The borrowers
Oh,
were
yeah.
basically like modern gnomes.
No, they were taking shit. They were the takers.
Yeah, they were takers. They were not borrowing.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you asked if you could borrow something, and then
Can I borrow $1?
can I borrow? But you always say this. You would always say, "Can I borrow a piece of gum?"
Right.
And there was always that one kid who would say, "Do you mean take a piece of gum?
You mean have?
do you mean have?
You mean have?
You mean have it? You mean have?"
I'll give you half.
It's like the parents who go, "Can I have that?" And they go, "May I have that?"
Oh my!
Oh
man.
my god!
My mom was a teacher.
Boo! Canceled.
And when I was
Cancel that.
when I was in the back of the minivan and we were going somewhere and I said something grammatically incorrect, boy, was I corrected.
Here, I'll be your mom real quick. You say, "Can I?"
Can I watch the? Can I have some more corn?
Oh, you can, but may you have? I don't know why I made it French.
Dracula.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you can, Keith, but may you? Now
No, she
she's
would
mother.
say-
Sesame Street
She would just start with may, may you have, or like yes you may have some. Yes you may have some corn. Or then the classic, child response is, I don't know. Can you, Keith, have some corn?
You know what's weird? I'm really on the side of proper grammar when I see it written. But in a vernacular, like when we're speaking, I could care less.
That's because-
I couldn't care less.
Right.
I could care less.
I could.
Yeah.
That's because when you're reading something, you aren't given the emphasis. You aren't given the way it's spoken. When you hear things, there's a ton of connotation from emotion, something the giver lacked, that tells you what someone means. Like we could get by with like no connector words, right? Like bread, it's the same as
bread, yeah.
may I have some bread?
Yes.
Bread,
Do you know how many times I've yelled that during quarantine?
bread.
Bread?
That's because Matt makes bread, right?
Yeah, but also,
That's a treat.
have you not just craved bread?
Oh, I eat bread. It's 1 a.m. and you're in bed and the covers are pulled over your head to trap your phone's light so your partner can keep snoozing because you are too busy playing best fiends. I know that's my every night. Becky's slumbering and I'm playing puzzles with little monsters. If you haven't gotten Best Fiends, give it a download today. It's free in the store. I mean, why not? Sometimes Zach and I, we touch base, see how each other are doing. He'll text me and be like, did you get past this level? And I'll be like, nah, bro. Because Best Fiends is the can't put it down mobile puzzle game that's free to download. With over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. There's more levels, events, and challenges added all the time. So play away. And there's always just, there's always like one more level. There's always one more. I just do one more level. Seriously, once you download Best Fiends, boredom won't stand a chance. And when Best Fiends says that the fun never ends, that's not an exaggeration. There are 5,000 levels and counting. So download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. Becky keeps trying. Okay. Let me get on a horse.
No.
Real
Go
quick.
off.
Make sure it's a silly horse.
It's a silly horse. So
Yeah.
Becky and we try to eat well. We're trying, especially after Thanksgiving came and gone. All we did was eat. We kept that tradition alive. But we've been working out. We got a rower. We've been rowing. Now we've been having salads this week. We've been trying to eat healthy. But here's something. I'll be like, I want to have bread because all I eat for breakfast, the only breakfast foods I'm interested in are eggs and toast. It's a good way to start my day.
Great way.
Now Becky's like, you shouldn't have bread. And I'm like, but then I can only eat eggs and then I will be hungry. So she doesn't want me to have bread. It's just because she doesn't want to have too many carbs.
Yeah.
But she has yogurt and berries and she'll make juice. She'll make all these other things for breakfast.
Yeah.
And the real thing is she'll be like at the store and she'll get ice cream, but tell me things like, I can't have bacon. And I'm like, Becky, bacon is my ice cream. I don't want ice cream.
Yeah.
I want this kind of. So it's always that Keith can't have his bad foods, but Becky can have hers.
Keith,
she can have chocolate. She came home with chocolate chips in the bag the other day, which is something Becky does sometimes. She doesn't buy candy. She's like, no, they're ingredients.
But you know what?
No.
And then she eats a handful of chocolate chips. I'm like, that's not. You're eating candy.
I think some people, Becky does this, and many people do this. They separate like treats and dessert as a separate thing that they can have that doesn't count towards like baconing or breading up a meal.
Right.
So it's like, oh no, that's my dessert, right? That's my like treat, my little snack.
My dessert is a steak.
See, they don't see it.
I know they don't see it.
It's a different planet.
We live on different worlds.
Different planets.
That's how we could, maybe that's the Romeo and Juliet. People who love desserts and people who don't.
Just entree boys.
I guess you could, I'm losing my lid. Just like, what if it was like, what if it was like grocery store departments and it was kind of like the movie, the Sausage Party movie.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of being about escaping it, they like the bread people are only friends with the bread people and the deli meats are only friends with the deli meats. But a ham falls in love with a baguette.
Oh,
You know what that
a
sounds
beautiful
like?
pair.
Pretty gay.
Pretty gay.
It's already pretty
and it
gay.
Will, obviously, all of them are gay.
Yep.
I'm a big believer that, like we were talking about food, you got to either go for it and like cook a steak with butter and fucking everything on it, or you have like something kind of healthy. But you can't be making out here a steak without butter, or like you can't be making out here making like a boring egg with no salt and shit.
Right.
You got to
It's like you can just have egg whites.
No,
you
can't.
can just go to hell.
Yeah.
I'm not in it for the egg whites.
No.
I'm in it for the yolk.
Hell yeah.
No one wants egg whites.
Yeah. You're
Except
also
for people who have high cholesterol, and I get that.
Yeah. You're big. You can have bread.
I'm big. I can have bread, and
Yeah.
I've been working out. I've been exercised 6 times in 8 days. That has got to be a record for Keith Haber's burger.
That's a lot of times.
And like, and we're hitting it. We're hitting it hard.
Oh, that's good.
And it's because we're in the honeymoon phase of the rower. I'm sure at some point we'll forget all about that sweet, sweet horse.
It was fucking silly.
What?
Words in English that are also the same as the same word but different meanings. So like yolk is the egg yolk, but yolk is also a thing you put on an ox.
Is that how
Like-
you spell it the same way?
Oh no, Y-O-K-E.
I feel
but
like
it
there
still
were so
sounds
many
the same.
options.
There's other better. That's where my mind went. This is the silly episode. Or like lie.
Homonyms.
Lie and lie.
Synonyms.
Homonym.
Yeah.
Speaking of homonyms.
Homonyms.
So lie is something that you say is a fib or to make yourself horizontal.
Yeah.
That's so confusing to people learning English.
Lie and lay.
Right? There's just so
I
many
still
words.
don't know the right one.
English is so silly.
It is silly.
Like, I'll take a lay.
Or like
but I lie down.
why
Or
like
lay down.
would wood being spelled wood and then also wood. So like timber is wood, O-O, and then wood, if you could or should, is O-U-L-D.
Yeah, we should, some countries have it seems like too many characters, too many words, right? Like I think Chinese is one of those that like there's just so many, it seems overwhelming. But English, especially American English, is so confusing because we have so few and there's so many similar sounding and looking words that mean completely different things. And we have a lot of those. So I think that's why people have trouble learning English is because like, oh, well, in this instance, this word means something completely opposite.
So silly.
Yeah, so silly.
Silly. That's why like something like Korean, Hangul is very clean because the whole, I believe one of the most famous kings of Korea, he simplified Chinese essentially, or like all the other more complicated languages. Like Japanese is also very complex, and was just like, you know what, I'm going to draw a grid and I'm going to make every of these 24 characters fit in the grid, and they all have one sound.
Oh, wow.
There's like a few variations. There's like an thing going on that's a little confusing, but other than that, everything's just is very simple.
Is Korean a tonal language?
What's an example of a tonal language?
So,
where a different pitch makes
so
a different
Chinese,
word? No, it's not.
Typically, Mandarin and most Chinese are tonal languages, which I don't really know much about. But my brother, who learned Chinese, tries to teach me about it, and it goes way over my head all the time. Yeah. But it's basically like if American English was spoken, where if I said "Hello, Eugene," and that was how that's the only way you could say "Hello, Eugene."
Yeah.
Is that it has to follow a sound, and the way you sort of sing the sounds actually changes the affectation of what those sounds
like if
mean.
You said the word hi versus hi. They're different. The tone makes it a different
words.
Meaning. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's why when you hear someone Chinese talking and movies, it like to us sounds so bizarre.
Right.
But it's a tonal language. That is how the language is spoken. It is almost sung in ways.
Yeah, which makes it gorgeous.
I think cool. It sounds
Vietnamese
amazing.
is also very tonal.
Yes. Yeah.
Korean is not. So when you hear someone speaking Korean just very quickly on the phone, they could sound like they're speaking something like more like English because it's just very straightforward. Right. Japanese is really interesting. I learned that why Japanese is so hard to speak for non-native speakers, every syllable is the exact same length. So as they speak, the phonetic is like, and you can watch any like anime or something, but it's just da 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 da. It's just perfectly spaced, and that's something that we have no concept of.
No.
We could not do that.
Yeah, like arigato mas. It's all the same.
It's just all the same exact length. Yeah.
I feel like a bad citizen of the world because I only speak English, and I am. And I'm wondering, I speak very minimal Spanish, although I took it all in school and stuff like that. I feel like living in Los Angeles, it is a fucking travesty that I don't speak full Spanish.
Hey, guys, let's see how far we can get in just Spanish for the next start right now.
This is going to be embarrassing.
I only know French, but I can maybe pick up a little bit.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien. ¿Y tú?
Más o menos.
More or less. Better or worse.
Bien.
Bien.
Más o menos bien.
Sí. ¿Dónde
Los
es? La biblioteca.
La biblioteca, that's the whatever. Where did that come from? Where does that joke come from?
You know why? It's a great word.
Biblioteca.
And I think it's just any beginner Spanish.
And it's like a great word. And discoteca is a good one.
Yeah.
It means discotheque.
Yes,
I like that one.
Yes,
but you know what? It is very grass.
Los baños.
Yeah.
Los baños. It is very grass is greener because, we always, English to non-English speakers, some people think it's like cool sounding or pretty sounding.
Yeah.
I mean, not every accent we have is necessarily the coolest.
Rank them.
I mean, yeah, some people are very charmed. I mean, I know I have family members who are very charmed by like Southern accents because they see Westerns growing up. So that accent is very like
howdy,
iconic. Yeah. So it's always just like, that is such a beautiful language. And everyone who has that language is like, oh, it's so boring. Because you think of your grandma yelling it or something, and it it loses its shine.
Keith, come on down.
It is similar to what it sounded like in the South. Not my grandmother, but other people's grandmothers.
Let's talk about grandmas.
Grammy.
So you know what's silly? Okay, Zach and Ned do this. I don't really have this, but people have like pet names for their grandmas. So Ned was talking about the drama, like the nicknames.
Oh yeah, they have nicknames.
That's the like
Nanu and
like Pee-Pee.
when when Wes was born, Ned's parents and in-laws were discussing amongst themselves who got to have which
who's grandma, who's granny,
who got Nuna,
who's Nanu.
It was like a whole political
Mama.
conversation.
His baby is just baby language.
It basically is what's going to be the easiest phonetic sound for the baby to refer to me as, because I'm most excited to meet it as a baby.
What was your grandma?
One of my grandmothers was grandma. So grandma and grandpa were my dad's side. I never knew my grandfather on my mother's side. He passed either before I was born or when I was very, 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 very itty bitty baby young. And then my mother's mother was named Mama.
Mama.
Yeah.
So you called your grandma Mama.
Mama.
Oh, interesting.
And she referred to her as Mama.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if that's a hangover from what my mother called her mother,
You're right.
perhaps, or it was just like, yeah, I call her Mama, so you're going to call her Mama, and you'll call the other grandmother Grandma. And none of them are alive anymore, but that is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
My grandpa did make it to 104.
That's fucking insane.
Which
That's
is
so
insane.
cool.
And also, it's even more insane because as a child, he had rickets. So like,
that?
which is like a leg like thing.
Right.
And so he like has stunted his growth and something were goofy with his legs. So he was only like 5 feet tall, if even. So he's a tiny little man. And he was a airplane engineer in World War II, where he met my grandmother in Scotland. They came back and moved here to New York, where my dad was born and raised in Queens. And just a bizarre thing. They lived in the German district, which, led there be to some like questionable animosity to the Germans during World War II, obviously. But they were all like, no, we're chill. We're Americans. We are not into that. We're not that.
Right, this is grandma or mama?
Grandpa and grandma.
Grandpa and grandma.
But my grandma, she came over after the war. So she was Scottish.
Yeah.
And Scottish. So I remember when I was a baby, she would sing the You Take the High Road song, but like in a Scottish dialect. You take the high road and I'll take the low road and I'll be in Scotland before ye. So me and my true love shall never meet again on the bunny banks of Gadzuland. I'm like, Gadzuland. On the bunny banks of Gadzuland. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, to me, I thought this was a child song that was completely made up and fantastical fantasy that I never heard about.
That's a fucking best example of, I hear a Scottish accent and I'm so into it.
Love it.
I think it's the most sing-songy people.
It's
but then you
goofy.
talk to a Scottish person, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Our accents sound like...
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, our accents are not pretty.
Like, so...
Did your grandmother ever encounter, for lack of a better term, bears?
No.
Wait, like...
She never knew a bear.
Merida?
Not that I know of. She doesn't... She never told me any stories about any of the bears' lore.
One of here's a funny story. We're on the topic of Scotland and Ireland. In my high school, we did something called One Act in theater.
Oh yeah,
which
One
is
Act.
a
One Act
competition
festival.
that you can take to state.
Yeah.
And everyone comes in. And for people who don't know, One Act is like you have a set number of set pieces that you can use, and it's basically one act play. And we did a play that was set in Ireland. And in Ireland, my accent's terrible, but I studied so hard to get this accent right because I was the lead character, and I was also the only person of color on the stage, and none of the other, none of my classmates would learn. Like I'd be sitting there going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd be up there with what I thought was a pretty darn good parody of an Irish accent, at the very least. I tried really hard. I would watch all the movies.
But more
I would watch
dramatic.
anything with an Irish accent. I was practicing. And then I got up there, and the first performance, it was just me, this Asian boy, screaming in like this very strong Irish. And then everyone else was just like, but the cows are gone. I'm like, oh no, the cows. It was very confusing. It was already very confusing for the audience and very confusing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not as gay as musical theater.
No. One acts are very serious, very sad. Typically some sort of like person dies, parents are abusive, relationships are abusive. They're all like intense. All the one acts are like, okay, we only have half the time to tell the story. Make it dark.
Which, oh
Make
my
it fucking
God,
dark.
high school theater there's this great TikToker or something we're saying this is like kids portraying things they have no idea about. So it's always just, Violet, how could you take Mickey to the bar, I know what you were doing with him.
Right.
You cheating whore. You better respect me. Slap. And then you go, I swear it wasn't me. Ronnie, I love you. Everything was bad. Then I take my fake whiskey drink, which is always like iced tea. Yeah.
You throw it. With the holiday season upon us, we're all getting into the spirit by indulging in the sights and sounds and scents of the season. And one thing I made sure to do was update my native collection with their new holiday scents. Hell yeah, my armpits now smell like sugar cookies. Everybody can back off. I am crushing life. You already know about this, but it doesn't just block odor better. They're made better. It's got ingredients you've heard of like coconut oil and shea butter. It's also vegan and it's never tested on animals. All these things we love around the holiday season. Their candy cane gift set also makes for a great gift option, and all Native products are great stocking stuffers for everyone on your list. So shop Native's holiday collection today by going to nativedeo.com/tryguys or use promo code tryguys at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/tryguys or use promo code tryguys at checkout for 20% off your first order.
I always imagine that scene for the Marriage Story being done by like two middle schoolers and like an acting class.
That's a great digital series.
Yeah, right.
Is kids recreate adult scenes that they have no idea what they mean.
Cold reading.
Yeah.
Cold reading.
Wow, that's actually really good.
Okay, copyright. That's a Try Kids.
Okay, stop stealing it, audience. It's ours. Listeners.
That's the Try Kids first series is recreating those scenes. What's another good two adult scene for them to get?
Like Wolf of Wall Street, like the two, like where there's just like, I woke up, I had Coke, Oxy. He's like talking about the drugs he took, walking up to an 8th grader.
That is so funny.
I need more Quaaludes.
Yeah.
I need more Quaaludes. I need a Quaalud.
That is great, man. I miss theater. I miss the theater.
I did. I mean, I only got to do theater proper my senior year of high school, like until I went to school for theater, obviously. But like those high school plays, there's something special about a high school play. College plays, everybody's too serious. Your professors are watching and judging you for your school grade on your plays. You like have to be so connected, and they're fun still. But high school plays,
listen,
there's something special.
Listen, you get older, you go into business or whatever, and you're selling stuff, you get rejection a lot, and it hurts. But nothing compares to that cast list getting pinned up on a door. I mean, you know, when you're an athlete, I kind of feel like you kind of know if you made the team or not based on your performance.
You can watch the other people running and say, I was the slowest.
Exactly. But in theater or a choir show where there's a certain list of people.
All the auditions are
there's
private.
Also politics. There's also
so many
the
politics.
parents who are like donating more to the arts program.
Plus, like, it's true, and this is true in any casting. If Sharon is the best girl for the lead, Mike was the best boy for the league, but has terrible chemistry with Sharon. So Benny's going to be the lead because we need to have Sharon. So like there are politics like that. Is like, well, she was the best. So now we have to go off who was the best with her.
Right.
And so sometimes your performance doesn't really matter how good you were because someone else is more important to that role. And it's rough. It's tough. It's tough out there. I mean, there were still cast lists in college theater too, and those were even more intense because you'd have this big audition at the top of the semester. They'd cast all the plays from that. You'd have callbacks to all the plays from that general audition, and so you would even that first time. It's like if you didn't get many callbacks, you were not getting a good role. But some people get called back to like everything, right? But then there were politics of like 2 different plays wanted that one actor. You can only be in 1 play per semester. So then like they had like meetings where they'd almost be like trading baseball cards around because like, well, I need them. It's like, okay, well, if you get them, then I get this person.
Yeah.
And it would like be a mishmash, and I never got cast well in college, and it's very sad.
You could do we talked about this a little bit on the Zach Ned episode, but you could draft a musical, like a fantasy football draft.
Oh.
But drafting a musical and then use those people's careers to see how the musical would perform box office wise.
That's easy. You just pick all the stars.
Well, maybe, but sometimes stars are in flops.
That's true.
And then whoever's the highest box office would win.
Who would I put it? Who is the one person you want in your musical?
Daniel Radcliffe.
I mean, that you're going to make your money back for sure. I
Wait,
was
you talking about movie musical or stage musical?
Well, I was thinking stage musical. It would not be Daniel Radcliffe.
I would do the waving through a window guy.
Waving. Ben Platt?
Yeah, Ben Platt.
Yeah. He's cool.
He's amazing.
I would pick Audra McDonald.
Oh, man. I would go Idina probably.
Oh.
But also, do you guys see the Beetlejuice remix thing?
I wanted to.
I didn't see it live ever, but I saw clips from it, and I can't remember. But the girl who plays Violet, whatever that lead is incredible.
Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder's character. No, her character.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ryder,
Sometimes I watch YouTube compilations because, even if you can't go to Broadway shows when you don't live in New York, I'll just watch things of like the highest notes for female singers to hit. And it just like is a mega clip of like, these are the hardest roles to hit this note. I'm just so astounded by talent. I love good talent.
That's why my highest success rate is off Broadway, because I think that Broadway requires such an unbelievable amount of, not only like your show has to be good, but you have to cast it well for that opening weekend.
Keith, you're very talented.
I am, but I don't know if I can write a Broadway show.
You could also be cast for casting. You need to be one of the character actors.
I do need to be a character.
So if you're in Les Mis, you got to be master of the house.
Oh.
You're master of the house, baby.
Come on,
Yes.
please let me.
Keith, I feel like that's totally doable for your career, is to crush a Broadway opening weekend.
Yeah, I just got to write. I want to write.
Oh, you want to do the
I want
music.
to make a musical.
Yeah.
I have like songs that I think are like, oh, this is a hit song in a musical, but I have to write the whole musical. Like I have this amazing, like beautiful duet that's about a couple rejoicing that they're not pregnant. And it like explodes. It's just about, it's song's called Negative, and they're both just super fucking happy that their pregnancy test is negative. And then obviously in the show it would be that like they sing this whole song, the guy leaves, and the girl then realizes it's positive. Right. So they had this huge opening number about how great it is that they're not pregnant, and then they are pregnant, and it was like a one night stand thing, and now
Más o menos.
now they have to figure it out.
Más o menos. Very nice, Eugene.
Well, you know what? That's enough. That's enough art talk. Let's talk about something sillier.
Oh, sillier.
Yeah.
Sillier than art. There's
Silly
nothing.
bands, more like. You guys remember those? Silly
What?
bands?
Silly bands?
You
the
remember silly
wristband?
bands? The little wristbands
those
look
were,
like
first of all,
animals?
they were not in my
Wait, silly
time.
bands?
Maybe they were
talking about
your
slap
time.
bracelets?
They were at the-
What's
no,
a silly
no,
band?
no.
It's a rubber band in the shape of a horse, but then you put it on your wrist and it's really not in the shape of a
It's
horse
just a
anymore. But
wristband.
when you take it off,
Oh, those things.
it's the shape of a horse again.
Were they the
Yeah.
things from like coin machines?
Yeah, they were at the very popular, like, I feel like I was in the age demographic, like, for like a year before they ended.
Okay.
They were like a
Those-
fidget item. They were just
Yeah.
a thing for a year.
Those
They
gum-
were rubber bands.
Those gumball machine thingies, what are they called? Gumball machine?
Gu-
I don't know,
gumball machine.
prize
Coin
machine.
machine?
I don't
Coin
know.
machine?
Quarter prizes. Quarter gifts.
One, I don't know. Are they still popular for kids? I don't see them as much anymore. They used to be always at the front of
the
like
grocery store.
the grocery stores.
Yeah.
And oh my God, if you got a big ass gumball, you get one big ass gumball. So you ask your parents, like, you get 50 cents, you are riding high, you are a rich person.
Oh, wow. Yeah. If you
But
have
usually
50
they
cents.
just give you 25 cents. And sometimes you want to get like temporary tattoo or
Sticky hand.
the sticky
Sticky
fucking hand.
Oh.
Which
Sticky
you get
hand
the
whip.
sticky hand.
Hell yeah.
And within an hour, it is
Filthy.
disgusting.
So dirty.
That hand is
Filth.
just covered in lint, but you still play with it until it can't stick no more.
You just like you're riding home in the car and just slapping it on the window.
They also
just
had these-
ruining that window.
Do you remember the sticky ones? It's like a person or a frog or an animal with balls for their hands and feet, and
yes.
they would crawl down the wall when you threw it.
oh, yeah, those are cool.
Those were cool.
All the toys, it's not a silly thing, but you know something that I really miss is arcades. And it's just I
Arcades.
love arcades.
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. I fucking love arcades. I walked by a place near my new house the other day, and it was a pinball place, and it was closed obviously right now, but I peeked in and there were like 15 pinball machines. I fucking love pinball. It's within walking distance of my house. But it's not open. And when will it ever be open? When will I be able to flap the flippers? When will I be able to knock those ball bearings around into targets and
It's
into
crazy.
holes?
We're talking
multi-ball.
You know what's silly is aging. Because we're waxing nostalgic to a lot of listeners
Yeah.
who might be under, say, 20-ish. They don't experience this.
They remember arcades, right?
They don't go to arcades anymore.
They're only at bowling alleys now. Like the fucking Dave and
If
Buster's.
they even go bowling.
Dave and Buster's,
You
by
can
the way,
Wii bowl.
not an arcade.
No.
That's an indoor theme park as far as I'm concerned.
That's absolutely right.
An arcade, it has wacky 80s carpet. It smells like quarters. And half of the machines don't really work how they should, but enough of them do. There's a crazy looking guy wandering around. He's never at the prize thing when you're ready to bring your tickets up. There's nobody there. You're like, I got my tickets. And there's nobody there. He's wandering around. They're in a mall.
So we were born in like late 80s, which makes us part of this really interesting, I guess, like mid to older millennials who we grew up as children with a lot of things that are very dated. And then suddenly, like when we hit elementary, middle school, things just shifted dramatically with the internet.
Yeah.
So things like answering machines and
Caller ID,
landlines where you could listen in on calls.
Yeah.
People don't get that. So so your parents could be talking on one phone and you have to yell across the house, like, hang up the phone. Cause like maybe your friend Billy's calling you, Keith, and I'm your mom and I'm like, bonjour.
Yeah. It's like,
It's habis
Mom, get off.
Yeah. Cause
I want to talk to Hank.
Oh, you can sit. Cause that was like devices in movies. You know, they'd be like, they were listening on the call and they found out that the husband, he went to the bar and he cheated. I'm doing the kids theater again.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, that was such a cool time
And
for
knowing
phones.
phone numbers.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Do you still know like childhood friends' phone numbers? Because I do. Yeah.
I know my friends' phone numbers as kids more than I know any phone numbers now.
Yeah, I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
I know Becky's phone number. That's it.
Like you'd have to remember your emergency contact number, you know, when you're signing up for a field trip.
Yeah.
Nowadays you pull out your cell and you're like, okay, I gotta look this up.
I probably had a good 15 numbers in the bank, in the brain, And you remember those combos? You dial the wrong one sometimes, and somebody answers like, "Hello," like, is Robert there? Like, you have the wrong number, son. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And you call the same number again. It's like, hello. It's like, oh God, never mind. I'm sorry. I just don't have his number.
Yeah. You know those Spotify Wrapped lists were going around Twitter where people showed their like most streamed artists, and it made me think of Limewire.
Oh my God, virus machine.
Yeah. So back in the early days of the internet,
on Napster.
I was a
on
LimeWire
Napster.
boy. Yeah, it was a different situation because you would try to find a song. Say you were trying to find, I don't know, Miley Cyrus, a new one of her excellent new songs. You had to go through maybe 20 downloads of someone who probably I don't know, recorded it from a faraway microphone.
A green bar if it was really good eventually. That was more Kazaa's speed. They had a good rating system.
Yeah.
But especially Napster, is no fucking clue what you're going to get. And people just name files, songs, and you download it and it would not be that.
So silly.
It would just be any confusing trap. But then of course you could get your music sometimes. But it was weird quality. It was like a recording of a recording. It was taped off the radio. But it was cool.
Also, when you were a kid, when you would load anything on a website, it would what's the word? It kind of strobes downward. Like it loads top to bottom.
Right.
The lines.
Yeah, it'd be like...
It would load one row of pixels at a time from the top down.
Especially photos.
Especially pornographic photos.
Let's talk silly. Porn as a child, when I
what was your first pseudo porn? Because pseudo porn is the thing. I'm ready to talk about it. Okay, there's a website. There's a website called Newgrounds, and there was a website called Assassins.com. Both were flash animation game and video sites.
Yes.
And both of them had a little dirty section. Section where it would be, and they would slowly strip off their clothes. Slowly slip them off. And then, but each one was a photo, so it loaded the same way. And you'd load it only to find out that they only lost the socks. You're like, fucking God, and you click the next page and you're looking over your shoulder.
And you're like,
is mom and dad coming around?
Speaking of which, that's what kids don't recognize today.
Yeah.
You have one family computer.
Yeah, you don't have your own phone. You can't
have your own phone. You don't have your own laptop. One computer in the house. And for some reason, I get it, your parents, it's either in a family room or it's facing for a large space. So if you walked into the room, you'd see what's on the screen.
It's facing a wall, so your back is facing the opening of a living room of sorts, or an office of sorts.
Looking at naughty stuff was Mission Impossible shit. It was
so
it's
challenging.
11 p.m. I'm going to creep into this room.
And you
Hey, whoa. I'm
Whoa.
just saying what you can't do. I'm just saying don't say
I wasn't at that point yet. I just kind of was looking at stuff.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like,
But you couldn't do that.
you can't do
yeah,
that.
it was risky.
You have to like try to memorize it for some other time.
I would be like Google image searching the word boob with safe search on and like seeing a picture and being like, oh, right.
Ooh, yeah,
Cool.
Google. I mean, even Google image search like that wasn't very good. Yeah, there wasn't really.
No, it's not
you were
good.
using Ask Jeeves. You were using other search engines. There wasn't a dominant search engine at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was Yahoo started becoming kind of predominant at some point.
Yahoo was pretty big.
Yeah.
Yahoo Games.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
So for
in
me,
general.
when I discovered that there was gay stuff online,
Mm-hmm.
I to hide it because I didn't realize how to erase history. I
yeah.
went.
Yes.
Oh, this is maybe the silliest. I would type in hot girl, boob, butt, boob, girl, blonde, boob, butt, ass, brunette, hot, kiss,
You typed all that in a row.
mouth. No, I would just keep researching.
Oh.
And then every 20th one I'd go, gay.
Oh,
I would go,
You try to
God,
bury
it's
it.
so
I'd
funny.
bury it and I'd go like gay. And then I would do another 10 searches.
Titty.
Yeah, titty,
Booby.
booby,
But
Legs.
penis.
that's so whispering it into the
It
computer.
was so sad because really, cut into my private time that I was trying to like get away with this. So
Right.
and then of course the loading took forever. So
So okay, this is something I was thinking about just the other day. I know, but we got
this is the silly
wrap
episode.
this up
You
right
gotta
now.
do
We
it.
just
Do it.
found the meat. Just
found the silliest
we found
stories.
what we wanted to get.
We got it.
Audience is like, here we go.
We started-
we go.
we
I'm
started
turning off my
canceling
car in the
Santa.
driveway
We're
and I'm
here.
just
We
staying and
found it. We
listening to
got
the
it.
rest
We
of
got the
Okay,
silly.
So, chat rooms.
Oh
my
God.
Oh,
I can look back now and realize I was putting myself in perhaps one of the most dangerous environments all the time. I would be going in and people would be like,
don't
where do you
even
live? I'm like,
know.
this is my address.
Oh, my
because you're a fucking
God.
child.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're saying. And you're like hoping you're thinking you're making friends.
Yeah.
And you don't know any of these people. I was certainly talking to adults mixed with children. And like
Yes.
we were just talking about stuff. And this is a very funny, silly thing. My handle as a child was Burger Boy.
nice.
Okay.
That was my first ever handle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was pretty good. And Burger Boy.
Yeah.
Now, this is about the time when people first started writing BRB. I thought people were referring to me because my name was Burger Boy.
That's good.
And it like burger, burger. And I whenever someone would write BRB, I legitimately thought they were trying to talk to me. And I would write, what's up? In like a group chat. And
That's so awkward.
It was very awkward.
That's so painfully awkward.
And then eventually,
You're like, no one's talking to me.
Eventually, I realized it was be right back.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. Oh. But here's the connection. Some people's avatars were dirty pictures because you could upload any image you wanted.
Yep.
So I found that the chat room was a safe place for me to find dirty pictures because I wasn't searching for them. I was simply going into chat rooms where inevitably there would be somebody with a dirty avatar, and you could click the avatar and you could see the full image of the avatar larger.
Wow.
And then you could also download the avatars because you could just save images. Now, I was something I did not do because I realized immediately it was on the computer. Like,
computer,
get this
yeah.
out of here. I did was like, nope, and get rid of that. But it was like, man, chat rooms were a weird place. I'm sure there's some existence of them now, but I'm kind of glad they're probably pretty much eradicated in terms of how you would use them.
Yeah.
There's new evils. There's new evils.
It was
for-
like everyone was a catfish.
everyone was a catfish.
Even kids were catfishing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm a 18-year-old in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just lied.
I'm a
You just totally
Caucasian blonde man. I go to the job in the car.
And you'd be like, you talk to someone for like 5 minutes who's saying that they're like a girl who's your age somewhere else. Like, you want to be my girlfriend? Because you're a child.
Yeah, you don't know what that means.
You want to be my girlfriend?
If
They'd be like,
anyone-
I got a girlfriend now.
if anyone who is like did not grow up with this wants to see what this was like, watch the show called Pen 15.
Oh, it's so good.
on Hulu.
Yep.
That is literally the age that those actresses, I believe, are our age.
Yeah.
Actually, I just realized we look like them.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh my god!
What a perfect Halloween costume for us.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. They're fantastic, by the way. It's a fantastic
They're so
show.
funny.
Those performer producers, they're incredible. Wow, that is so funny. You look so much like her.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
We
That's
should
really
do
good.
that.
It's
And
awesome.
that still fulfills your need to do drag.
Yeah.
You know, I can do drag too.
Oh my god. But
It's so funny.
you watch that show and that was basically our like middle school experience.
Yeah, it was.
It's
I've actually
very
only
close
seen
to
like
that.
the first 3 episodes because
they have a
Becky
whole-
crushed it without me.
They have a
which is
whole
very
episode
normal.
dedicated to chat rooms.
I want to watch that one
It's
specifically.
exactly
because
what
that-
you described.
It was so weird. It was such a weird time. Growing up is so confusing, and especially growing up at the beginning of the internet. And even you kids now, like, you know more about the internet than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You certainly do. And we knew more about the internet than our parents at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us sort of started on the ground floor together. So your dad is learning about the internet at the same time as you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what is he using the internet for? I don't know. I don't fucking care. Dad's boring. You know, that's like what your thought is. Like, whatever he's looking at is probably, my dad was probably looking up rocks, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah, look at
Now to think of it, I'm actually looking up rocks right now sometimes. So I get it. I get it, Dad. I get it. But like, because he's a geologist, I'm trying to find a big fancy rock for my house. You know.
Oh, that's cool.
And he sent me. Okay, I'm gonna say he sent me there's a big geologist trade show up halfway between here and Las Vegas.
Sexy.
It's in January or February. So
Geologist trade
if anybody wants to go with me, you could buy a wholesale.
I would love to go. I
Wholesale
told you-
gems, baby.
Oh.
Bitch, did you see that tweet I sent that you make fun of? Where I'm like, I used to collect gems as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
I
But
would
you
go to
did
the
polished gems.
Yeah, because they're the only ones at the store in the mall.
I know, but you gotta get.
What's
we're
that
gonna
mall
go get
store?
raw minerals, bro.
What was that mall store that had a lot of like knickknacks and
Oh.
like
I know,
fool's gold?
It was like
and-
trade winds, or it was
yeah,
like, it had
and
a
that
name like
slippery thing that gets out of your hand.
Well, that's the Discovery Science store.
Discovery Science
Discovery
store.
Science.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool place.
Yeah, but you know, back in the day, if you had to learn something without the internet, you bought encyclopedias.
Yeah, which no one's gonna do.
you
But
would buy like an annual Encarta encyclopedia.
Yeah, but
to
we're gonna
get
go
knowledge.
and we're gonna find one of those big fucking amethyst geodes that the cool
hell
people
yeah.
have, or a different kind of big geode. I'm gonna put it in the corner of my house, and I'll be one of those people. I'm fucking amped about it, but they're too expensive when you buy them from the store. So I'm going to a trade show where I can
nice.
haggle with a man.
Here's my silly segue. It goes, encyclopedias is where you get knowledge back in the day, but today you can just get your advice.
Very nice.
Yep.
From our local advisory,
silly
parental
Santa
advisory warning
canceller.
over here.
Santa canceling Miles.
Hell yeah.
Bonsignore.
He giveth and taketh away.
It's advice that'll go for miles. Tune it to your radio station.
Dear listeners, please write more covers of this song for
Yeah,
Miles
I
to
love your
use.
covers.
Sillier covers.
I know.
Sillier.
Keith hates the original.
Like a xylophone one.
That'd be fun. Musical version.
All xylophone, yeah.
Musical theater. What's up, Miles Nations? Keith Eugene, thanks for joining me on this beautiful day.
Thanks.
Have you ever wanted someone to massage your teeth?
Actually, yeah, kind of. I love going to the dentist.
I'm interested.
Kind of a dentist is a massage. for
Have
teeth.
you ever wanted a little man to touch your tongue?
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of like a tongue scraper. I like dental hygiene a
It
lot.
is either an electric toothbrush or the dentist.
Get in there and grab your freaking gums. And I'm not talking about Wrigley's, believe it or not.
That's Ripley's.
No,
But I
he's
see what
talking
you're
about-
doing there.
We're talking about Wrigley gum. Wrigley's.
I know, but I think
gum.
he was doing a Ripley's pun.
Oh.
Because Ripley's, believe it or not.
Right, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
phonetically.
The holiday
English is
season
crazy.
is more than a season. It's the season.
Wait, it's more than a season, but it is the season?
Well, we'll
There's
have
only
to
two of us
see.
today, so we're really trying to interact with
I
you.
just
Yeah.
want to know what you mean.
Yeah.
Go to the dentist and he'll tell you your teeth are bad, actually. I went to the dentist.
Wait, is this advice or just an anecdote?
It's
Well-
always something Miles did recently.
Yeah,
so
it's
you went
something
to the
I did.
dentist.
I went to the dentist on Tuesday.
I'm afraid to go to the dentist right now.
Keith, that's exactly where you have to go.
No, but it seems like
No.
of all the things I should do, should I let someone else into my mouth during a pandemic? I know that it's sterile.
Yeah.
However, it literally someone's fingers in your mouth.
They did put their fingers in my mouth, and then I walked into the dentist. And when I was in there, they told me I never had cavities as a kid until I was 25. I didn't have any cavities. I was totally fine.
I've never had a cavity.
Right. And it
Cavityless kids.
snuck up
That's why you
on
should tell
me.
Becky she needs to stop telling you not to eat your meats because she's eating all the ice creams.
She did get a lot
Sorry,
of
Miles, we're interrupting.
No. This is to be interrupted. The segment is always to be interrupted.
No, it's not. Tell
We
us.
don't, what if we gave you
segment-
nothing? What if we just gave you nothing?
If you let's have them before, it is bad, baby. But they told me he got a bunch of cavities and it hurt like shit because I have sensitive teeth and they filled a bunch of cavities and it was a pain in the ass. But now I know that I'm not wondering. I think my teeth are rotting out of my face.
Oh, but your teeth were in pain.
No, they weren't. But he was like, you came in, you have cavities, I filled them, and now you don't have them anymore, so they're not going to cause bigger problems.
They have peace of mind.
Peace of mind. And the longer you wait to go to the dentist, the worse the cavities get.
I went a year ago. Isn't that enough?
You have to go. So I thought that too, but you kind of got to go every 6 months.
Well, I was supposed to. I literally had an appointment in April of last year.
Yeah.
Right. Everything shut down.
Wait, when
They
was the
were
last time you went?
closed.
Oh.
April of the year before, probably.
Oh, no.
A year and a half. But because I can't fucking go to the. I know it was 6 months before that. Because
Do you want me to brush your teeth with you on your back? Just so
I
you
know
can
how to
feel-
brush my teeth.
Try Guys
can
brush
feel-
each other's
I
teeth.
brush my teeth.
the joys of the
that's pretty
dentist.
good. Actually, I feel like Try Guys dental hygienist is feasible.
That's cool.
You know, it's
I
mostly
love
just
dentists.
cleaning.
I'm all about dental.
Yeah, it
hygiene.
doesn't bother me to go to the dentist, except sometimes they could be a little gentler.
Do you know
with
you're
the
supposed to floss
That hurts.
before you brush?
So I didn't know that,
Oh,
but sometimes
what?
I do it because I like it more. And the reason is when you floss first, it feels like you get more gunk on the string. You feel like you're more productive.
And that's
Yeah,
actually
I
why
agree.
you're supposed to floss before. I didn't know that.
Really?
Because it's just a habit most of us has of flossing after. And here's another crazy thing. You're not supposed to rinse your mouth with water after you brush your teeth.
Well, how am I supposed to not?
You keep, then the
Yeah, I've
fluoride
heard
doesn't
that.
activate. So you just keep the shit in there.
Same with after mouthwash. Not
Yeah,
supposed
you
to-
can maybe wash with a mouthwash afterwards, but you look stunned. You're just thinking I'm
He's
walking around.
dumbfounded.
Yeah, you're just supposed to keep some of
Yeah.
that fluoride just floating around in your teeth. And that's silly.
because that's how it gets on your teeth, the
Yeah.
enamel and stuff.
Otherwise, you're just kind of
Yeah.
doing something and just getting half the benefits. Isn't that fucking silly?
But anyway, my teeth were rotting, and he went inside and filled a very deep cavity, and it was painful. And now they put the thing in, so my jaw doesn't quite my teeth don't quite sit right yet because it takes a couple days. For
So,
it kinda
how bad were your cavities?
they were bad.
They were
no.
cavernous.
He showed me, and I nearly passed out. He showed me, and I was like, I'm dying. I'm gonna be dead within a week.
My
It
teeth
was,
have always been good. Here's the
disgusting.
thing. I don't think I take exceptional care of my teeth.
Yeah.
And I never have. But I also have never had cavities. Even now. I don't think I take the best care of my teeth. And whenever I go, they're looking good.
Oh,
Everything looks great.
That's great.
I think you could brush more often, Keith, but it also doesn't seem like it bothers you. They
Yeah.
always get, the toughest thing for me is the gunk that gets on the back of the bottom row
It's
on the
hard.
front. I cannot get that plaque off myself.
That's where
That's why you need the dentist. The dentist
Yeah.
gets that plaque that you can't unplaque.
That's the first song in the musical of the entree people versus the desserts. They're like, no cavities.
No cavities.
No cavities.
No
They ain't got no
cavities.
cavities on this side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the Romeo and Juliet. It's people with cavities and people without.
And the dessert people have no teeth.
I will say one of the things I did ask, I was like, why do I have these cavities? I brush my teeth. It's pretty I'm brushing my teeth all the time. I never had cavities as a kid. And she was just like, yeah, it's genetics. There's no, you can brush your teeth all you want, but
Yeah.
it's just genetics.
Yeah, I just lucked out.
Yeah,
it's one of the
right.
things.
It's
Here's the thing. I got fucked up tongue.
Yeah.
So the good Lord
Bounces
gave
out.
me great teeth.
So you guys want to hear one last really silly thing
Yes.
that many people
This'll
don't
be
know?
our last
Yeah, we'll end on this.
All right.
silly moment.
We're talking about teeth. So I
Movie
have
teeth.
I have something that every dentist, when they first meet me, at the first upon inspection, they've all said, huh. And I go, what's the huh? And they say, you have two identical, perfect, circular, black dots on your upper back molars on the same spot. And they pick at it and they go, but it's not a cavity. It's not any sort of it's literally just a marking. and every single one has
Whoa.
joked in some way. They go, maybe you're an alien. And
Oh my God.
they can't explain it. And every time a hygienist goes in, they just like pick at it and they're just like, no, it's just like these like, you've been like
you got
a brand.
birthmarks
Yeah.
on your teeth.
You're
Yeah.
a clone.
So then they're like, you're maybe you're not who you think you are. Do you have a belly button? And I sit there and go, what if I was? What if this is the beginning of a really great like freeform show?
Yeah.
You know, like
Kyle XY.
And like little vines come out of those little holes in the back of your teeth and shoot out of your mouth and strangle people you have sex with. Very
and
similar.
it turns out, you know what I am? The Giving Tree's son. And I'm out for revenge.
Very nice.
That's right.
The giving teeth.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take because I'm gonna fucking give it to those taken boys, children and offspring.
Guys, I'm sorry I said earlier.
You said
I've been thinking. I was trying to explain the truth.
yeah.
You don't have to
The
apologize.
truth of just self-discovery, and maybe it went too far.
It's a
Maybe it
norm.
made people
It's a
uncomfortable.
natural. It's a natural.
It's a natural thing. And I've been saying. I just said you couldn't.
Yeah.
Keith. You know what? I'm listening to my weird spots, and they're telling me you're all good.
I just don't want anybody to be like, oh, I don't like Keith anymore.
My tooth spots are also telling me to not put the milk and cookies out because you don't want Santa to come in your house this year.
Yeah.
And my 2 spots are telling me, Keith, hit us with the TryPod theme song.
I'm
Silly.
so sorry about what I said.
Silly, make it silly.
I'm so sorry about what I said.
No,
I
this is-
didn't mean to make that
Yes.
imagery pop into your mind of a tiny little Keith looking around the corner. Say, is his dad coming? Or is his mama coming? Or is his brothers coming? Or, oh, is that the dog? Or, oh, what's going on in here? And I'm in the family office and I can see through the window. It's my parents walking home. You got freak out. You got to close the window. Then you got open the window because you got get rid of the history. You can't just close the window. That's not enough. And then maybe someday your mom's like, "Hey, were you on this side?" And you're like, "No, that wasn't me. That must have been one of my brothers because I'm too young and innocent." And thanks for listening to this episode of the TryPod.
Oh, that's Keith Haber's burger. He has no cavities.